What's up, guys? So this is the Atari X 600 XL that my friend and neighbor gave me a while back. If you haven't seen the video, I'll put a link somewhere to it. And I just wanted to show you essentially how it works. I know that it works. I have actually tested it. I've opened this, cleaned it. I've put a lot of the case. Well, I stripped the case and put that for a wash, and I did that as well on all the extensions. So this is a memory extension. I think it increases. I think this has 16K and this is 64K, so you get 80Ks altogether. The plug here, you can only plug in one way. There you go. We have an 80K machine. Now I'm going to put the Amiga 600, which was part of the lot. I'll do a separate video on that because I want to put a GoTech drive on this. But we're going to plug this in, and I'm going to show you a few games. I also want to show you this cool beast. This is the floppy drive that came with it. There's actually two floppy drives. This one, as you can see, it's big, and oh my good god, the other one, which is even bigger. I mean, these are beasts. Look at that. Compared to the size of the computer. The reason these are so big and so heavy and so bulky is that there's no hardware support for a drive in this. So the drive has all the hardware required, and the drive is essentially its own computer. So the connection to the computer is actually just the data line, and it's the drive that does everything. It's got its own OS, it's got its own its own computer in there, which is kind of cool, right? Let's see if I can put that in just to show you. There you go. So the cool thing about this is it uses the same RGB output as the Commodore 64. So there you go, we're all plugged in. Let's try this. The on button is at the back. I don't know if you could hear the boot sequence. I'm just gonna bring the camera closer. It's actually booting up, making all that funny sound. And there's a sound when the drive accesses the disc. It beeps, and it constantly beeps. It's actually a bit weird. So it's a cool. I love the keyboard. Return, yeah, of course. We can print. Hello world. Hello world. Thank you. I don't know much about the basic on the Atari, but it's print is one of these commands that is pretty much the same on every system. Can you clear screen? No. So I'm gonna get a few cards and show you what the games look like on the Atari 600 XL. There you go, a few cards. We're gonna plug in a joystick controller standard. It's called the Atari port, but it's the type controller. And I'm using an MSX joypad. Actually, we should put a card in before. So we're gonna use, what are we gonna start with? Well, PacMan, I suppose. Oh, what happened there? It feels a bit slow, and I wonder if this is the 50 Hz, 60 Hz curse that we were affected with in Europe. I'm not very good at PacMan. I don't really know the strategy, but it's actually a very good part of PacMan. It's actually a decent part of PacMan altogether. It even has that you can input the commands before you make a turn. as you would in the arcade PacMan. I don't know if that was the case with the Atari 2600 version. But it makes planning your moves a bit easier and predictable. When I said I wasn't very good at PacMan, I meant it. So there you go, this is PacMan for the Atari 2600. Let's try something else. I suspect these came straight out of the main box. They look very, or no, maybe these ones, they look very, very sort of official and first party. Donkey Kong. Oh. I haven't cleaned the cards. I know they work because I tried them, but some of the time you need to start. No, I don't know. A. There you go. Doesn't really like the second button on this. Yeah, this is definitely playing in 50 Hertz. Not ideal. Wow, the music was way off on this one. What is it that and this is also an official Nintendo port, so I don't know. Trying to trap them on the one side. That was stupid of me. It's actually not a bad port. For the main difference is that I suppose I don't know how many levels this version has, so let's see where. Oh, I'm back to 25. Okay. So the main difference here is that really the level is inverted. Faces the other way, which is not a big deal, I suppose. Oh, there you go. Man, I actually missed the sounds of the original Donkey Kong in this one. The down, 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 down. Actually. Oh. How high can you get? Man, my voice is messed up, really. I was gonna say I never get the timing of those bouncing things right, but it doesn't seem to be a problem because I won't get any further than this. This was Donkey Kong on Atari 2600. It's a pretty cool cart actually. Now this is a big one for me, River Raid. I never really played it on the Atari 2600 because I didn't have one, but I had the MSX, and the version on the MSX is awesome. And this is not far off. I still think the MSX version is better. Now I'm getting interference from my screen, so hence the River Raid is a really cool game. That's really all there is to it. You can go slower. You need to go over these to refuel. Your fuel decreases really low. And really shoot or avoid obstacles in your way. That's really all there is to it. You can accelerate, you can slow down. And it's one of those games that you end up playing for way longer than you initially thought you would, because it's actually very addictive and it's so simple. So you end up dying on very easy sections and going, no, I'll play one last time because I can do much better than that. And next thing you're playing for about an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. That's the sign of a good game in my book. I could get quite far if I remember here, at least in the MSX version, but the levels look very similar. Now there was a cool thing about this is that the levels were actually randomly generated in a way. It's not quite, well, it is actually true. It used a random generated algorithm to create the levels, so it was very low on memory, but it was really cool because the starting point of the random algorithm was always the same. So every time you played, you ended up with the same level. So it wasn't exactly random because the starting point was fixed of the randomizer or whatever algorithm. There's actually a name for it. I'm sure somebody will know. Actually put the name in the comments if you know it. If you know it, I can look on Wikipedia. But if you actually know it, let me know. I'm not doing very well here. But it was something like that. It was a it was generated through an algorithm whose starting point was always the same. So we ended up with the same levels every time. So I'm used to playing it with a keyboard as well, and I find playing with a pad not quite as precise. Oh well, I think that's me done. There you go. That's River Raid for the Atari 2600. It's pretty cool. I like it, and I'm still in favor of the MSX version. I'll have to do a review of that at some point, but I like this very much. And finally, well, not finally, I have a lot more to show you guys, but I think we're gonna end the cards with this. It's Frogger. First person who says it's like Crossy Road gets permanently banned from the channel. I don't think I can do that really, but of course Crossy Road is a Frogger clone. Not a bad one, I must say, but a clone nonetheless. Ah. man. Come on. It's not as forgiving as Crossy Road, that's for sure. But it's actually pretty close to the arcade, and in fact a lot of the games are very similar, I think, to the, what is it, Atari 500, 5000 or whatever, 50, 200, can't remember. I lost count with Atari, and I just wasn't an Atari guy. But there you go, and these are just a few selected games. So this works, and this works. I just need to get the cable. I can't find it. It's here somewhere. The controller cable for to link the drive to the Atari. I'll see if I can go and find it, and I'll be back right after this. There you go. I have the floppy drive plugged in, connected to the 600. So let's try a few discs. I have a pile of discs here. I have another pile of discs here, and I have an entire box of about 10 times as many over there. So a few of them are corrupted. That's no surprise. But there should be a few games here that still work, hopefully. We'll try with this. It's got Rally, Speedway, Quest for Tires, Kaboom, Star Trek. I know Quest for Tires, so we'll try that. These are funny drives. I'm used to the 3.5. This is 5 1/4, and I never actually had drives like that when I was a kid. They were actually before me, really, or targeted for a different audience than a young kid. Anyway, my first floppies I knew was the 3.5 inches, the small ones with the metal and hard plastic on it, and also the Amstrad CPC. They were good for floppies. But the way this works is you insert your floppy until you hear click, bring the protection down to actually kickstart the loading process, switch on the floppy drive, and then switch on the machine. And the floppy drive auto boots. Now this is the sound the floppy drive makes on screen. You would actually drive your parents nuts with this. Somebody's made a boot sequence. So these are copied games, really. But somebody took the time to make a small boot for it. So BC Quest, which wasn't unusual. I had a ton of MSX floppies like that. People made, they copied the ROMs, put them on the floppies, and then made a boot for it. Not very legal. Yeah, this screen is on its way out. It's doing funny things. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, there you go. Have I started already? Oh wow. Okay, I'm playing. I don't know what happened. So this is Quest for Tires. Actually just a big obstacle avoiding game. You can slow down, speed up, and that's really it. And if you leave your button pressed too long, you'll repeat that last action. Oh. And it's not very forgiving. I think I remember this from was it the C64? This was ported on a lot of things. Chump sucker. Am I auto? Not sure what's going on. It could be that, you know, those floppies don't last forever either, and a lot of them are corrupted. So even the games that boot could be easily corrupted. It's cool that it auto boots, that the floppies auto boots, but I do miss the having to load or enter. Oh no, I was there. My beautiful wife. Well, what do I need to do? Jump, you sucker, I'm doing that. Well, I don't know. So I need to maybe... Maybe she's hitting me when I get there. Anyway, this is Quest for Tires. Guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.